Hello, listeners. The episode you're about to hear experienced technical difficulties during the recording process. Despite best efforts from our hardworking audio engineers, we were not able to completely remove the anomalies, and for that we apologize. But fear not, this episode still features special guests Debbie Foster and Tom Mighell talking about ABA TECHSHOW 2018. And now, on to the show.
Welcome to the Digital Edge with Sharon Nelson and Jim Calloway. Your hosts, both legal technologists, authors, and lecturers, invite industry professionals to discuss a new topic related to lawyers and technology. You're listening to Legal Talk Network.
Welcome to the 121st edition of the Digital Edge, Lawyers and Technology. We're glad to have you with us. I'm Sharon Nelson, president of Sensei Enterprises, an information technology, cybersecurity, and digital forensics firm in Fairfax, Virginia.
And I'm Jim Calloway, director of the Oklahoma Bar Association's Management Assistance Program. Today, our topic is a preview of ABA TECHSHOW 2018.
Before we get started, we'd like to thank our sponsors. Thanks to our sponsor, Clio. Clio's cloud-based practice management software makes it easy to manage your law firm from intake to invoice. Try it for free at Clio.com. That's CLIO.com. Thank you to Answer One, a leading virtual receptionist and answering services provider for lawyers. You can find out more by giving them a call at 800-ANSWER1 or online at www.answer1.com. That's www.answer1.com.
Thanks to our sponsor, Scorpion. Scorpion sets the standard for law firm online marketing with proven campaign strategies to get attorneys better cases from the internet. Partner with Scorpion to get an award-winning website, ROI positive marketing programs today. Visit scorpionlegal.com/podcast. And also thanks to ServeNow, a nationwide network of trusted pre-screened process servers. Work with the most professional process servers who have experience with high-volume serves, embrace technology, and understand the litigation process. Visit servenow.com to learn more. We are very pleased to have as our guest our good friends Tom Mighell and Debbie Foster, the co-chairs of ABA TECHSHOW 2018. Tom is Vice President of Service Delivery at Contoural, Inc., where he helps organizations develop information governance, litigation readiness, and privacy programs. Tom is the co-host of the Kennedy Mighell Report and the co-author of the upcoming Lawyer's Guide to Collaboration Tools 2nd edition. Tom served as chair of ABA's Law Practice Division in 2011 to 2012. Debbie Foster is a nationally recognized thought leader on efficiency and innovation in professional legal organizations. Her 20-plus years of experience, combined with a mix of strategic management and strong leadership skills, has enabled Debbie to develop a unique ability to work with law firms and legal departments to help them navigate the ever-changing legal services delivery landscape. Thanks for joining us today, Tom and Debbie.
Hey, Jim, thanks for having me. Jim and Sharon, it is a pleasure to be here with you today.
Same for me. A pleasure. Glad to be joining you all on your world-renowned, award-winning podcast.
Very kind of you to say, Debbie. And Debbie and Tom, guys, this is not your first time at the Tech Show Rodeo. We both know how much work is involved as a Tech Show chair, since Jim and I have done it too. What made the two of you decide to come back for a second time?
Well, that's a really good question, Sharon. And sometimes, especially recently, I've been asking myself that same question. But the reality is, and you and Jim know this just as well as Tom and I do, we love TECHSHOW, and it has played such a big role in my professional life and everything from friends and connections in the legal industry. And we just love the show. And when the ABA called and said, hey, what would you think about chairing ABA TECHSHOW again? My first thought was, if I could do it with Tom, I might actually be willing to do that. And they asked Tom, and Tom and I talked about it, and we just decided that we love TECHSHOW, we love working together, and it would be a good opportunity for us to do that.
Well, but what Debbie's not saying is that when they asked me, my first thought was, well, if I could do it with Debbie, then I would do that. So I think it worked out well all the way around.
Feeling is mutual.
Well, guys, it's been 10 years since Tom chaired Tech Show and 8 years since Debbie was chair. What has changed the most about Tech Show since then?
You know, after having been in this position now for, what has it been, 7, 8, 9 months, however long it's been, I think that the thing that's changed the most is really the field of legal technology. Back when I did this in 2008, it felt, when I compare it to what it is now, it felt easier to figure out what we wanted to talk about, what we wanted to show attendees, what the main and hot topics were. Now, there are so many topics in legal technology, it is really hard to figure out what's the right content, how do we please all the people. We're not going to please all the people, so how do we get to the right level of content that makes for a successful show, but you try to cover it all in a very compressed, consolidated 2.5 days. To me, that's been the biggest change. I'm amazed at how much of the landscape has exploded in the past 10 years.
And if I can just add one quick thing to that, because I think, Tom, that's a really good point. And one thing that makes it even more complicated is that we still have lawyers coming in who literally know nothing about technology. And so all of these new topics have come in, and we're still faced with the challenge of so many lawyers who still need to learn the basics, that the field of play is so much larger.
Well, one of the things that's really new about Tech Show 2018 is the location. After 10 years, we're moving to a new location. So what can you tell us about the new venue, Tom?
So I was actually 10 years ago the chair who moved to the Hilton when we moved to that location from the Sheraton. And I think that's at the back of my mind. I think that's one of the reasons that people decided to ask me to be part of this. We're moving this year to the Chicago Hyatt. We're very excited about the Hyatt. Really the best part of the new hotel is the way that the conference areas are laid out, the way that we have the classrooms are all in one location, all very close together, close to other breakout rooms and other places. They're all within a very manageable walking distance, where before it took a while to get there. And then you are literally just right down the escalator into the vendor hall. It doesn't feel quite like the dungeon that we had over at the Hilton. The vendors are going to be extremely happy about the vendor hall. It's a huge space. It's almost largely sold out at this point. It's going to be great for some of the events that we're planning to have there. But what we really like is just the ability for attendees to go back and forth between the educational area and the vendor area without having to do a lot of walking, a lot of navigating. It's going to be a lot friendlier hotel, I think, in general, than in past years.
It seems like every year Tech Show does something new and different. What can attendees expect new at this year's show?
So I'll take that question. So I think that what Tom just talked about is the biggest, newest thing at Tech Show. And I think our attendees are just going to be thrilled with how we're going to transform that space. But in addition to that, we have a little bit of a new twist on some of the same things. Taste of TECHSHOW dinners are back, and we're really going to make a big push to get people involved with the Taste of TECHSHOW. That has been one of the most highly rated events of the show. People come back with new friends and connections that they wouldn't have previously made. And then one of the other big things that we have coming is we're this year trying out a new track called Beyond the Tech, where we're going to talk about some of the other things that lawyers need to know to run a successful practice. So touching a little bit on the management and leadership and marketing and financial topics in a little bit more detail in that Beyond the Tech track. We're really excited about what that's going to bring to the show.
Before we move on to our next segment, let's take a quick commercial break.
Is your firm experiencing missed calls, empty voicemail boxes, and potential clients you'll never hear from again? Enter Answer One Virtual Receptionists. They're more than just an answering service. Answer One is available 24/7. They can even schedule appointments, respond to emails, integrate with Clio, and much more. Answer One helps make sure your clients have the experience they deserve. Give them a call at 1-800-ANSWER1 or visit them at answerone.com/podcast for a special offer.
Looking for a process server you can trust? ServeNow.com is a nationwide network of local pre-screened process servers. ServeNow works with the most professional process servers in the country. Connect your firm with process servers who embrace technology, have experience with high-volume serves, and understand the litigation process and the rules of properly effectuating service. Find a pre-screened process server today. Visit ServeNow.com.
Welcome back to the Digital Edge on the Legal Talk Network. Today our subject is a preview of ABA TECHSHOW 2018, and our guests are the conference co-chairs Tom Mighell and Debbie Foster. Debbie, legal technology is such a huge topic these days, and as Tom mentioned, it's really evolved over time. How do you and the TECHSHOW board figure out what topics are best, and how do you put the schedule together?
So that's a little bit of a secret sauce question, right? I think every board has faced big challenges in doing this, and I think that we had an additional really big challenge this year, which is an exciting thing that happened for TECHSHOW. We put together a call for speakers that we really publicized, got some of the top bloggers and podcasters in the legal industry to help us spread the message, and got 175-ish responses in our call for speakers, call for presentations. So we had that, plus every TECHSHOW board has somewhere between 9 or 10 and 12 board members. All of the board members come prepared with ideas and things that they want on the grid. And then it just becomes a really, really difficult, challenging process of elimination. And, it's almost like kind of jockeying for position. There's a lot of sessions on the grid, but there's only 60, 65, something like that. And so when you look at 175 proposals for presentations, and then you look at, we had 11 board members, every one of them who had at least 2 or 3 or 4 ideas. It was really overwhelming. And then we just kind of went through and we said, we think, what does everyone think? Is this one going to be popular? Some people really fought hard for their session because they thought it was really relevant and they had great speakers for it. But it's a tough thing to do every year because we really could have 120 sessions at TECHSHOW, but you've got to, dial it back to that acceptable 60 or 70 number.
Tom, what kind of technology did the TECHSHOW board members who are spread all across the country use to collaborate with each other?
Well, that's another big change that we've had since when I chaired TECHSHOW back in 2008, which is we didn't really use a lot of technologies back then to collaborate online anyway. We mostly just used spreadsheets and documents and exchanged them back and forth. The board at some point in time got invested in using Google Docs, and we went ahead and decided to do that. We decided to keep using Google Docs because they are an online set of documents that everybody can access. It's really fun watching as we have board meetings online to have the board, we can see them as they're looking at the documents. Some will add notes to it to make sure that it's accurate. And everybody's taking part in editing documents, or at least the minutes for our meetings that we have. We also wanted to make sure, at least encourage more visual participation. And so all of our board meetings, and we actually have been meeting quite regularly. We have a standing meeting every 2 weeks. I think we're all getting tired of that. We're ready to have the show over with. So actually, we're going to go to meetings every week for the next couple of weeks when we get to it. But we've been using Zoom video to do that, and about half to a little more of the board regularly gets on video. So it's good to see everybody's face every couple of weeks. We really enjoy doing that. The one that's really interesting, a board a couple of years ago used it, then they stopped using it. This year we're using it again. We're using Slack as a messaging tool, and we've set up different channels for different parts of the show. We share documents with each other. We communicate. We're using it more as a messaging tool. I wanted to use it to get us out of email. Some of us like it more than others. Some of us use it more than others, which creates a problem. But that's the challenge of finding the right collaboration tools.
Well, I know that educational content is the main reason people go to TECHSHOW, but there's so many social events and other ways to meet people, network, have a good time, etc. So, Debbie, what are some of the extracurricular activities at this year's TECHSHOW?
Glad you asked that, Sharon. The social events are some of my favorite parts of TECHSHOW. So the ever-popular Taste of TECHSHOW dinners, I talked about that already. We're going to have those again on Thursday night and Friday night. We have 2 expo hall receptions that are just going to be with our new expo hall space. Are going to be so much fun. We're really excited about those. We are bringing back the Tech Show Yoga and the 5K run, and we're working on another special surprise for all of our morning exercisers who want to be a part of what's going on in the early mornings at Tech Show. And then there are some St. Patrick's Day festivities that are happening outside of the show the weekend before St. Patrick's Day. So that's going to be a new exciting thing for our attendees who haven't gotten to experience the beginning of the St. Patrick's Day week in Chicago.
What advice would you give for our first-time attendees? We always like to have first-time attendees at ABA Tech Show. What can they do to get the most out of Tech Show?
So I think there's 3 or 4 things that a first-time attendee can do to really get the best experience. The first is download the app. The app is getting better and better every year. It really contains everything about Tech Show. It'll talk about the different communities you can join. It obviously has all the sessions and the topics that people can join. You'll have the materials there. You'll be able to rate speakers and sessions from within the app. Downloading the app really is just a no-brainer. You need to do that even before you get to Tech Show so you can plan out your conference experience. The second thing is to be social. Do those extracurricular activities that Debbie just talked about. Come to the receptions, meet people. Go to a Taste of TECHSHOW dinner and meet the speakers, meet your fellow attendees. I guarantee you they will have issues that you have too. You will have commonalities because you all come to the show for the same reasons. You're trying to find better ways to use technology. The last thing that we're going to try to do this year is actually put together some sort of Tech Show buddy program. We're going to match new attendees, first-time attendees with what we'll call Tech Show ambassadors. It's really going to depend on how many of our old-timer attendees or veteran, I should say veteran is probably the better word there, our veteran attendees want to participate in this, but we've seen this happen with other legal technology shows, and maybe setting them up and helping guide the first-timers around, we think could be a very useful experience for newcomers.
Before we move on to our next segment, let's take a quick commercial break.
Imagine what you could do with an extra 8 hours per week. That's how much time legal professionals save with Clio, the world's leading practice management software. With intuitive time tracking, billing, and matter management, Clio streamlines everything you do to run your practice from intake to invoice. Try Clio for free and get a 10% discount for your first 6 months when you sign up with the code TDE10. Of course, you can find Clio at Clio.com. That's CLIO.com.
Feel like your marketing efforts aren't getting you the high-value cases your firm deserves? For over 15 years, Scorpion has helped thousands of law firms just like yours attract new cases and grow their practices. As a Google Premier Partner and winner of Google's Platform Innovator Award, Scorpion has the right resources and technology to market your law firm aggressively and generate better cases from the internet. For more information, visit scorpionlegal.com/podcast.
Welcome back to the Digital Edge on the Legal Talk Network. Today our subject is a preview of ABA TechShow 2018, and our guests are the conference co-chairs Tom Mighell and Debbie Foster. One of the ideas that gets brought up at TechShow and other legal technology conference is the future of law practice. So taking out your crystal ball, Debbie, what do you predict will be the game-changing technology for law firms 5 years from now?
So that's a great question, Sharon. I'm going to answer that with 2 parts, actually. The first piece is I think that artificial intelligence is going to be one of the big game changers that we see from a future of the practice of law, and how artificial intelligence is going to be integrated into how lawyers practice. But the other thing that I think really is going to be a game changer in the coming years is something that has been around for a really long time. And it's about automation and how lawyers really leverage technology to get their work done. Not so much with artificial intelligence, but just really understanding the best and most efficient way to get work done and what technology tools are available to help lawyers really leverage technology and provide better service to their clients.
Last question. For a person who's never attended ABA Tech Show before but is thinking about coming this year, what is the one reason why someone should come to ABA Tech Show?
I only get one reason, Jim? Okay, I'll make it happen. I'll make it happen with one reason. So I think that the number one reason for any attendee to come to TechShow is you may think you know what legal technology is about, but you should come to TechShow to find out what you don't know about, because we find out usually that people don't know what they don't know. And I think TechShow is about that. It's about finding out what you don't know about legal technology. And now that the duty of technology competence is an ethical responsibility in over 28 states, the fact that you should have some idea, know about legal technology, I think is more important than it ever was. And that should be the most important reason why you come to TechShow, is to learn about what you don't know about and figure out what you should know about.
I want to thank you both for being our guests today, Tom and Debbie. You know, TechShow, we love TechShow like none other. It's the ship we've all captained, and in your case, captaining again, which is very brave of you. So thank you for being here and giving us a preview of TechShow 2018, which I know is going to be a really super show. And thanks for your very hard work in making it happen.
Well, thanks for having us. We always love talking about TechShow.
Thanks, guys. It was great to be here with you both.
And that does it for this edition of the Digital Edge Lawyers in Technology. And remember, you can subscribe to all the editions of this podcast at LegalTalkNetwork.com or on Apple Podcasts. And if you enjoyed our podcasts, please rate us on Apple Podcasts.
Thanks for joining us. Goodbye, Miss Sharon.
Happy trails, cowboy.
Thanks for listening to The Digital Edge, produced by the broadcast professionals at Legal Talk Network. Join Sharon Nelson and Jim Calloway for their next podcast covering the latest topic related to lawyers and technology. Subscribe to the RSS feed on LegalTalkNetwork.com or in iTunes. The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.